6 is just leaving me. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh, I think I understand. Or not. Yeah, I think I understand. He becomes the next... Yeah, he becomes the next tall man. What's the tall man's name? What do they call him now? The broadcaster or something? Hey, Cyberwolf. Good morning. Yeah. Boy. Okay, so I did say earlier that if I would say that if they did kill Six, I would not play this game. Six didn't die, so I'm happy about that. But I don't like her action at the end. Spoilers? You can't spoil when I just finished a game. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you broke her shit. Super Mario World. So from what I understand, it seems like the cycle continues with Mono being the next, unless Mono was a real threat. But there must have been a better way to get to redeem it. Because like Mono became the next broadcaster. If Mono becomes the next broadcaster, then the cycle continues. But that doesn't explain what Six is for. Like, what is Six there for? Like, what is her purpose? Oh my god, I can't skip the credits. You seriously? Okay, the music is very loud. Hold on. So like if Six hadn't dropped Mono, would Mono have become the next broadcaster? I don't know. But the problem is that like, why did Six do that? Are they making a third game? What if he's the body at the beginning of the... What if he's the body at the beginning of the first game? Oh, you mean the hanging guy? Oh, you mean the hanging one that was like... He's not? No, he's not the tall man that hung himself. Supposedly this game is supposed to be a sequel to Little Nightmare 1. But the app phone game is a prequel of Little Nightmares 1. When Six got trapped in the TV, that's when the game first started. When Six got trapped in the TV, that's when the first game started? Oh, really? Is that true? Okay, but regardless, what I'm wondering is if Mono was actually like, yeah, in Little Nightmares 1, that's why when we see Six again, she's that monster because... Yeah, but the problem, the thing is like, that may be true that when we go into the other world, when we see Six, she's also like in the end of Little Nightmare 1, she's still on the ship though. And she doesn't look deformed yet, unless it's like years. So for whatever reason, hear me out here, for whatever reason in the time realm, or in the TV realm, time passes by a lot faster than what it is in the real world. So when she gets absorbed by the broadcaster into the TV and she's supposedly on that ship, she goes through the entire game of Little Nightmare 1. What if Mono was the one who tell Six to let go? See, that's also a predict. Like, that's the problem. You don't know if that's actually a theory because you don't hear anything like any dialogue, and that could be honestly a thing that Mono might have told Six to let go. Okay, but oh my gosh. Yeah, it didn't look like. Okay, so let me explain. Yeah, she did look like she yanked her arm back. That's the problem. So let me explain my process of thinking here. So in the app version, I don't know if you guys ever played or watched any theories of the app version, but the app version, you play as a character who isn't actually Six, but you presume that she's Six because she has the same figure. You later on find out that in actuality, the girl that's helping you throughout the entire game of the app phone is the girl 6, the one that's the friend, the helper. And she actually grabs the yellow rain suit from the ocean because it fell into the ocean. That's why when she in Little Nightmares 1 started off with the yellow raincoat, that's what made sense to me. But in this game, she doesn't have the yellow raincoat to begin with. She gets it way later in the game. In fact, it has no correlation. If anything, she just literally got it for whatever reason. I like the theory of 6 being in Little Nightmare when she was pulled into the TV, but that doesn't explain like how the correlation between the TV, the broadcaster. Like I don't like the only way I could think of this theory makes sense. Actually, here's a big reason that I think that makes sense. You notice that when the broadcaster pulled 6 for the first time, you saw a little ghost of 6, right? Like a little soul, like her soul was left in the real world, and her actual physical body was pulled into the TV. There was a lot of other kids that are in the same fate. There was a lot of other kids who were also in that astral form in the world, and for some reason Mono absorbs those kids rather than like letting them go or something. He absorbs it to himself. So maybe the theory is, or maybe the story is that while 6 was in the TV world, she actually found the real, like she actually learned the truth of who Mono is, and which is why she let go of Mono. I don't know. There's so many theories. Is there any YouTube videos about it after this cutscene? I would love to watch. I'm very curious if anybody has a solid argument or like theory to and evidence to prove back their theories. I mean, the game is literally just out today, so I highly doubt it. Yeah, it's definitely still very early. Oh my god, there's so many things I want to know. I will say though that this game, in my opinion, is just as good as the first one. I don't think it's superior, but I don't think it's inferior as the first one. I think they added a lot of really cool things, and the puzzles, in my opinion, were way harder than in the first one. You think this one was way better? I like the first one a lot because it's all about platforming and just getting around stuff and avoiding creatures. But in this one, it felt like it was more physical combat. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like it was it doesn't feel like it's a game that deserves or it needs a physical combat system. And this has to be a sequel since the developers said it themselves. Yeah, exactly. This has to be a sequel. So I don't understand. Like, I can't believe the theory that when she gets pulled into the TV, she's on the ship. Because there is a theory behind everything, where basically the island that you start in the game, in the Android or the iPhone game, is another location. And then you have the ship location, and then you have the city location, and they all connect with one another. What I mean by that is the hunter is the person who brings all the kids and potential people onto the ship, which is why I'm assuming the hunter was holding 6 in the first place, because he was gonna bring 6 to the ship. But if this is a sequel, then I feel like he should have known that there is no more ship because the ship is dead. The only thing I can think of, the only thing I can say right now is that 6's power in this game is nothing like she had in her first one. I don't think that it's God, how do I say this? I have a feeling that it's I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Kato. Yeah, we finished it already. But what? But wouldn't she have used her power if she had them? That's what I'm thinking. Like, if she didn't have her powers, see, I wasn't gonna say that it's multiple timelines. I was gonna say that it might be a different six. Like, I think that she has the same personality as the previous six, but I don't think that this six is particularly the same six. What I'm thinking is that there's multiple six, like multiple copies with the same frame, and but it also says in the description of the game that she's weak, right? I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't read that part. See, the thing is, like, I'm thinking that they're all actually different sixes, because if you were to go back to the first game, if you were to think about, when I say, okay, I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna use as the phone game as the second game, Little Nightmares 1 as the first game, and then this is the third game. Okay, it's gonna get a little bit confusing. So I was watching a lot of theories when it comes to the second game, and the whole premise of the second game is talking about a location where they build and breed the next geisha. So the person that's gonna be next in charge of the ship, to run it, to feed from, to give these giant obese people their food, and then to butcher them, and then give it to the next set of people to eat. And what I'm thinking is that they are all sixes. All the little girls are all sixes, which is my explanation to why 1/6 has supernatural powers, like in the first game, and why this 6 doesn't have any powers, and that she looks extremely weak. There was only one period when she started coughing, and then there was not a single period when she was hungry. Because if you look back to the first game, like, she's constantly hungry. Every chapter she's hungry at least once or twice, and in this one she was not hungry at all. So what fixed her? Yeah, that would also explain why there's two tall. Yeah, exactly. There's multiple monos. There's multiple sixes. In my opinion, that makes sense, because eventually they're breeding. It's a constant cycle. They're breeding the next wave of they're breeding the next generation, and they're only making it better, if that makes sense. So they have these engagements, and if this mono wins on top, then he deserves to be the next mono, because he's stronger than the last mono. Same with 6. If this 6 survives, then she deserves to be the main 6, and the previous 6 gets destroyed. Like the geisha, for example. The geisha lost to 6, and now 6 is the next geisha. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if that's actually true. There's, like, they don't give you anything. I hate, goddamn, this company. Why don't they give us a story? I wish there was, like, a novel for this game. I think there is a novel, actually. There is a novel for this game. And why is this credit so freaking long? Oh my god. Done in other games like Bendy and the Ink Machine. Oh. Oh, she's out now. She got out. Uh-oh. Oh my god, I just thought of something. I just thought of something. What is that? Oh my god! It is a prequel! Bro, it is a prequel! Oh my god! What if it's just another 6 calling this 6 to them? Okay, so hear my thought process here. Here's my thought process with this information just given to me. So we'll assume that this is a prequel. Okay, so if this is a prequel, that means that when Mono encounters 6 for the first time, she doesn't have the raincoat, which makes sense. It adds into the timeline. That makes sense. That's correct. But what if that two thing, the physical form of hers and the evil form, the astral form of hers, is actually the same person, but what got sucked out of her is her good side, and what's left in her actual physical body is the bad side, which is the reason why she let go of Mono. And then that good side is stuck in like in I don't know, in space or something, or like in a different reality form or whatnot, whatever you may call it. Because she is hungry now. We heard the stomach. We heard her stomach growling. Another thing that I would like to mention is that apparently she gets to the maw via the ferryman. Oh, is the ferryman the one that hung himself? She's longing for a soul because she lost her own? I think that might be the truth, yeah. Also, remember when I mentioned yesterday, there was a comment on one of the YouTube channels that said that her hunger is actually a curse for her letting go of Mono? That actually could actually be true. Like the fact that she let go of Mono and continued the cycle of, you know, Mono becoming the next broadcaster, maybe now she's cursed with internal hunger, and that she's never going to be satisfied. She's always going to be hungry no matter what. Oh my god, my brain is just exploding right now. Also, my internet is dying again, but my brain is exploding also. Honestly, I can see the ferryman, like the monsters on the boat. Exactly. What I can consider though is that the ferryman is the person that hung himself, because I bet you the geisha didn't want 6 to be there, and I bet the geisha saw 6 as her child. So there was a story where if you went, so there's a theory that a lot of the pictures that you see in Little Nightmares 1 is the geisha and the mother, but we couldn't correlate that the geisha, the picture girl, is the same girl as 6. So we never really assumed that they were mothers, or a mother and daughters. But what I'm thinking may be the case is that the geisha saw 6 as the daughter, and so instead of killing the daughter, because she couldn't, because it's her own child, and she can't stand looking at someone that's prettier than her, because 6 is absolutely prettier than the geisha, she banished geisha into the depths of the maw, and also murdered, or at least made the fairy, the person who brought 6 into the boat, hung himself. This is a very far-fetched story. I don't know if this is, I don't think it's a pedo alert, but it's kind of like the situation where, like, you know, you're a mother and you lost your child, right? But then all of a sudden you come across this child who looks and resembles exactly like your child, but she also has this obsession where she doesn't like anybody that's prettier than her. That's why she has to fatten everyone up. Everyone on the ship is ugly except her, and that's why she destroys all the mirrors except one mirror, because she cannot look at herself because she's that ugly. No, 6 is not her child. 6 is definitely not her child. What if the hangman is the boy? It's not. I doubt that the hangman is Mono. I don't think that the hangman is. If anything, the hangman is the fairy person, because we still don't know who the fairy person is, and there is one person in a picture in the geisha's chamber where it resembles a tall person, but it's not the broadcaster. Most likely her child is the girl that had the raincoat before 6. That could be true too. Yeah, that could be true. That could be a possibility. So like my thought process is kind of like that, where 6, the daughter, passed away at a young age. Because well, if we weren't to go all the way back, there is a theory where there is 2 people that was in charge of the boat, the geisha as well as the husband. But the husband, a lot of people assume that the hanged man was the husband, which is the ferryman. That's what people assumed. I don't know if that's actually true or not. I don't know, but let's just say that it might be a possibility. So if that's a possibility, the ferryman brought 6 onto the ship because he sees 6 as the daughter. The geisha sees the 6 as the daughter as well, but cannot fathom that she's prettier than her. And so she both banishes 6 and the husband, which is the ferryman, into the depths of the maw, where the husband, the ferryman, decides to hung himself, because he just can't, I don't know, maybe he lost control of his emotions and whatever, it may not be. But 6, being the hungry girl that she is, she cannot stay in the depths of the maw. She needs to go up to eat, because she's that hungry. And so because she knows the layout of the maw, because she's lived there before, she's visited from the ferryman and walked all the way down into the maw, she knows how to navigate through the maw, which is why we're able to get past, we were able to go back and forth, go all the way back to the top of the maw. And I don't know, maybe that's I don't know. I think it's super far-fetched. I don't know if this is a good theory, but it's my theory. I don't know. All I know is that I did not expect this game to be a prequel. I was set in stone that this was a sequel. My brain is completely thrown out of the window right now. I did not know that. I did not expect that at all. I feel like the teacher and the shotgun guy were the geisha's parents. I don't think so. So my explanation to that topic, Jupiter, is that there is a third game in the Little Nightmares series. There is a third game in the Nightmare series where you're actually on an island that's kind of like somewhere in the distance. And the whole point of this island is to train the new girls to become the next geisha. Supposedly, that's what happens. And now 6, the girl that we see here, she escaped from that location. Here's more information about the ferryman. The ferryman, or the shadow, is an anti-villain to Little Nightmares. His job is to search for the globe to hunt down children and bring them to the maw. It is unknown at the time whether he works under orders from the maw or is sneaking children on board illegally. He appears to be in the night. So yeah, if he apparently can be considered as someone who is illegally smuggling kids onto the ship, then that could be a possibility too. Yeah, so like in the third game, or I guess in times of the release of the game, it's actually the second game. This is the third game. The second game, you are playing as a girl who actually ends up, it's kind of spoilers, but she ends up dying. The character that you play ends up dying, but the girl that you get to play in the game is the one wearing the raincoat, the yellow jumpsuit. But what's interesting is that while you're playing as the girl in the raincoat, there is another girl who kind of follows you and actually helps you along the way, which is technically kind of how 6 is here. As you can tell, 6 is hesitant at first, but she helps out Mono until the very end. She is actually, cooperating with him. She's actually like going out of her way to protect him, and it resembles very like the girl in the second game. So to me, I believe that it's the same person. But what's interesting is that in the second game, in the app game, she actually steals your suit, your raincoat. So it doesn't make sense still why in this game she doesn't start off with the raincoat. That to me still boggles my mind. Like I still don't understand that part. But if let's say we take the assumption that in Little Nightmares, very little or tiny little nightmares, the second the app game, as the first first 6, and then she transitions into the third game, which is this one, and then when she betrays Mono and becomes the hungry one, it goes into the maw. That's the first one. I like that theory that Mono's adult form was trying to stop his children form to break the loop, and 6 was ensuring that he did loop. I understand, like that's a possibility, but what I don't understand is what's going on with the loop. Like, is the loop supposed to be a good thing, or is it supposed to be a bad thing? Because considering how the world looks and how the world feels, it seems like it's a bad thing. Because everyone is killing themselves, everyone is a drone, everyone is not really doing what they need to do. And then you have this maw, apparently, that everyone goes there to eat, ends up dying, and gets broken up, cooked, to feed for the next set of guests. So I don't see how that, like, I don't see how 6 was ensuring the loop beneficial to her at all. There's just clothing layers around too, like even that one noose with clothing hanging from it. Reminiscence of the rapture. See, one thing that I don't know if you guys were here when I was collecting all of the glitches, but there was one room with a glitch that had a picture of the geisha. In fact, it had a picture of the geisha when she was still very pretty, and the geisha clay model. You remember the ones where in Little Nightmare 1 we had to pick them and throw it? Maybe that's how they take the kids. They are brainwashing the parents so they can steal the kids. Ah, maybe. But how do they even get the kids in the first place? That's the question. Like, if all the adults in the world are brainwashed, like they can't reproduce for the kids, so then how do they get kids? Is this a very limited amount of supplies? Oh man, I don't know. I'm curious as to why the children are tiny. Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting why the kids are just so tiny compared to everyone else in the game. Everyone else in the game is either, like, I don't agree that everyone else in the game is massive, because everything looks up to scale if you think about it. Like the doors sizes look like they're normal doors for normal people. It's just that for us we look tiny, so we must be tinier than the actual stuff. But with that being said, in Little Nightmares 1, there was a lot of moments where you were able to climb ladders, you were able to climb stairs, you were able to climb a lot of things that were all portioned to your size. They were all within your frame, your height. So that means that it is not normal for these people to be this giant, this crazy big. In actuality, I think 6 is supposed to be a normal sized girl. I'm wondering if whatever warped the world made people into what they perceive themselves as, so children who view themselves as small are smaller, and people who are gluttonous and ravenous and go, yeah, that could be a good idea as well. Oh, but that ending actually knocked like my whole theory and just like what I thought was about this game. Because that is so cool. I did not expect to hear the hunger, and I did not expect to see the maw picture. Damn, that's so cool. Oh my god, that is so fucking cool.